Hey guys, Stuart Pidlong, the most targeted citizen. Hope you're having a good day. Anyway, I don't know if you guys know this about me or not, but you should have known by now. I'm an emotional guy. I am emotional. When I see something on TV, I react to it right then. Boom! I'm in it. I jump inside of it, and because I'm an empath for one, I don't think there's anything satanic about being an empath. I feel emotion. I feel others' pain. I can, yeah, not get into deep to it. Anyway, if you are a law enforcement supporter, what you don't seem to understand is you don't want to see things that show the bad side of law enforcement. So, in your worldview, law enforcement's good. So, that thing called an algorithm will not show you the evils of law enforcement. It won't show it to you. Just like if you're a Democrat and you're super woke and you're transgender this, transgender that, it'll show all the people that it'll show all the programs that talk of that people, with my opinion, are hateful and they're unrighteous and they should be put away forever. It only picks the algorithm of your mind. As I've told you guys in the past, you can think about something and 2 days later it would pop up. You should do the test. I'm telling you, it'll surprise you because they use me as a test tube baby. They test things on me. I'm a guinea pig. It used to be 2 days, and then it was a day and a half. Then it was a day. It is within a minute now since they have got this new advanced computer. It is within a minute that I think of something, it pops up. Like I'll be like, just like there's a guy on YouTube, his name is Sam Shimon, and he is a Holy Spirit born again Christian, and he's a Syrian, not a Syrian, he's a Syrian, the oldest people on the planet, and he debates Muslims, Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists. I mean, he just gets them all. So I was sitting here the other day, and this happens to me 20 times a day. I was like, I haven't seen his videos in a while. And I sat there and I watched the rest of the show. I was on. It was like a minute left of that show. And within a minute of that show, I rolled over to pick the next thing to watch. Boom, there's Sam. Hadn't been on my feed in 2 weeks. Boom, just pops up. And this is somebody who has content after content after content always posting up when I'm watching it. But because it hadn't popped up in a while, it's like I just kind of forgot he was there, and then it popped back up again. So that's me explaining that. A little off topic. So when you're a cop supporter, you don't see the negative things about cops. All you see is cop saved kitten in tree, cop pulled woman from burning vehicle, cop rewarded with a Medal of Honor, or cop signs off from 35 years on the force. That's all you see. You don't see the negative things that law enforcement does. You don't see that because it's not your algorithm. So in your mind's eye, all you know is cops are good. Look, if cops were that bad, I would see it all the time. I would see that they're bad. I would see it on the news. It would pop up somewhere on the news. But see, the problem is most people don't watch YouTube. And with YouTube, I have news from all over the country. News from all over the world. I have news from everywhere. When you're just in your hometown, you've got, 4 news stations? And that's it. So you've only got 4 places, and you should know by now that the local news, even I'm in Hickory, and the big news comes from Charlotte, and then there's one in Raleigh, and the big news comes from those places. Unless it's a really big story from my area, it won't show up there. So the chances of you seeing something about a bad officer are slim to none. That's why it sounds so shocking when you hear somebody like me for the first time talking about how I hate cops. I see it all. And you can say, well, you're on the algorithm of bad cops, so it only shows bad cops. There should not be one bad cop in the world. Their job is to what? Enforce law. Now, all the people that says their job is to serve and protect, the Supreme Court's ruled it's not their duty to serve or protect us. The law enforcement's only job is to enforce law. So, I'll get to the latest story. And as soon as Mason sat down, he's eating that nasty sunny side up. Is that what they call that? What? Sunny side up. Ugh, nasty. Just sat down and I kept saying the same thing over and over as this video played. And now I'm going to play part of the video. I have to stop it because they're going to copyright me on it as always. So here we go.
We move forward though. 2 Alaska State Troopers are charged with misdemeanor assault following a violent interaction with a man in Kenai. 49-year-old Joseph Miller and 42-year-old Jason Woodruff are both charged with 4th-degree assault. On May 24th, the troopers, along with the Kenai Police Department, confronted 38-year-old Ben Ticka in the back of his parked vehicle, believing he had a warrant out for his arrest.
So here we go. Alaska State Trooper. Of course, you know they got their own TV show. See, isn't it amazing to you? Ask yourself this. Why are so many TV shows about cops, firemen, detectives? My mom and dad, from the last time that I knew them, they would watch that CSI every day. I said, you're spirit-filled, Holy Spirit, tongue-talking Christians, and all you do is watch programs about sperm found here, person raped, murdered, blah, blah, blah. Why are you watching garbage like that? Isn't it amazing the amount of TV shows are about cops? And listen, the show Cops on Fox, when it came out in the 80s, was a groundbreaking show. That show was nothing but propaganda. The biggest show for propaganda, and the reason that the police force is where it is today, is Andy Griffith. Because Andy Griffith was a godly man that raised his son the way he should have been raised, that taught him good morals and good values. You didn't ever see Andy Griffith kicking somebody. You didn't ever see Barney Fife shooting people with his one bullet. They let the drunk come stay in the drunk tank, and when, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. It wasn't Barney. Barney was the cop. But the drunk, he would come and he'd stay the night and he'd get sober and he'd go home the next day. No big deal, right? So people in America, especially older people in America, had that mindset because it was drilled into them for 30 years? And then Andy Griffith was on from, it was in the 60s? And it was still in reproduction. It was still being posted and posted again, even when I was a child. 40 years later, it was still playing in the 90s, and it is still on some TV programs now. So boomers, easy way to describe them, boomers in our country, about law enforcement's your friend. Just remember Andy Griffith, he's a good guy. And then we found Cops. Now, Cops is a different kind of show. It was real life. So every time the cops did something to someone, we all assumed it was legal. The cops have to follow the law. Of course they know the law. They know they can't search without a warrant. They know all these things. So we just assume if a cop says something, it must be true. No. Cops indoctrinated us to think that everything they did was right because it never showed cops that said, oh, well, this cop did something wrong. It was always the meth head that got pulled over and he took off running. It's always the black thief that broke into a house and they had to chase him down. But it never showed the flip side where, wait a second, here's a lawyer that's going to debunk all the criminality that the cops did during the interaction. Right? Okay. We'll keep moving. 2 Alaska State Troopers charged with assault after a May incident. So as you see, the terror dog, a dog of death, clawing his car, striking at him, cop dog should be removed from service. Watch Barry Cooper. Barry Cooper tell you everything about drug dogs and cop dogs. They are the worst among us. I actually know a girl that trains those German Malinois. She trains them. I didn't know she sells them, I think, $20,000 a piece. She quit selling them to law enforcement because she got tired of seeing people abused and dogs abused. This is a trainer for the dogs. Quit selling them to law enforcement because they abuse the dogs and because they would abuse people with the dogs. So, here we go.
Ticka denied the warrant, and a press release says Miller sprayed pepper spray into the vehicle after breaking a rear window when Ticka refused to exit. According to the release from the Department of Public Safety, when Ticka continued to defy orders outside the vehicle, Miller used his boot to push Ticka's head into the ground, which was the...
So, if I got behind you and I get out and I knock the window out of your car and I try to get my, say, pit bull to bite you, and my pit bull bites you and I drag you out of the car, I take my boot and cram your head into the ground, beat you up, rough you up, have my dog bite you, what's going to happen to me? And I got a gun. Armed robbery, breaking and entering, assault with intent to inflict serious bodily injury. We're going to have the dog bite. That's going to be a felony. That's about 4 felonies I would have committed if I did this act to someone else.
Uncovered in broken glass. A taser was also allegedly used
Tased him too.
times while handcuffing Tikka. A canine was allegedly ordered to bite him, and the release says these orders continued after he appeared to begin complying. Tikka was taken to a hospital for treatment, and it was eventually determined that he was not who they were looking for.
So the cops beat this man, tased this man, destroyed his car, scratched his car, had a dog bite him, kidnapped him. They did all kinds of ungodly things that would put me in jail for the rest of my life. But these dumb Alaska State Troopers who have a TV show, their own TV show, take him to the hospital. Now let's pick up.
After reviewing the use of force, DPS leadership was notified of a possible policy violation. The Alaska Bureau of Investigation then conducted a criminal investigation where it was determined that criminal charges would be filed against both officers.
Now, A is singular. A is singular. A possible policy violation. So it's possible all the crimes they committed against him was just one singular policy violation. Now, in your head right now, what's the question that you should be asking? Because I started asking the question at the very beginning. I want to hold that question until you hear this response from the head man.
In a press release today, DPS Commissioner James Cockrell at AST says that it holds itself to a high standard.
Always a higher standard.
Accountability.
Always.
When I reviewed this video, I was totally sickened by what I saw.
He was sickened by what he saw. It made him sick to his stomach. The man is fighting back tears. Get the commissioner a Kleenex.
Two Alaska State Troopers that represent this uniform, represents this state, conducted himself in this way.
He's shocked.
Because of their actions, there was significant injuries to the person.
So, I was interrupted, sorry. So here this guy is. He's about to puke. He's totally upset. It is not how we portray ourselves. We hire ourselves to a higher standard. Now watch, he's fighting back tears. I'm still asking myself this question.
I went to the hospital that was in that vehicle.
He's crying.
And I've been with this department 33 years and I've never seen any action like this before.
Any actions. He just ain't seen it.
And it's hard for me to equate how this has affected me and other troopers that wear this uniform.
He just doesn't know how it equates to how it affects him and his other troopers. The man is fighting off tears. What's the question you're asking? Have you asked yourself that question yet? You haven't come up with the question yet.
Let me be clear, the action of these two individuals is not acceptable to me. It's not in the line of our training and our policy, and I know it's not acceptable to the Alaskans that we serve.
What is the question that you should be asking when this first started? How absolutely disgusted is the commissioner? He just told you. He fought back tears. It's killing him that he had to watch a video of that violence. God forbid he'd ever be a victim of that violence, but, they would run his tag first and find out he's commissioner. What's the question? You're going to find out the question. This guy's going to answer the question for you right now.
To Cockrell, both troopers are still employed by the state and are currently on administrative leave.
Still employed. My question, when this video started, did you fire them? Did you fire them? Still employed. Still employed. Oh, it disgusts me so much. It's a policy violation. They don't represent me at all. It's horrible. but they're still employed.
It's unclear whether that is paid leave.
Not even sure if they're getting paid or not. It's unclear that they're still getting paid. It is so important that they did it. But they're still employed and more than likely getting a paid vacation. But that man, the commissioner, was disgusted.
September 10th. According to John Skidmore, Deputy Attorney General for the Criminal Division with the Alaska Department of Law, body cam footage will not be released publicly.
Oh, it can't be that. Oh.
The trial ends.
Oh.
When there is body-worn camera footage that is evidence in a criminal investigation.
This is a lie.
We do not release evidence.
That's a lie.
In criminal investigation.
That's a lie.
For the risk that can interfere
Lie.
with a citizen's constitutional rights.
Lie.
When charges are brought.
Lie. He just lied. If that body-worn footage would prove the cops innocent, they would have shown that at the very beginning of this video. If it would have been a race claim where some angry black woman was talking about racism, and it was a white cop and being respectable, wasn't being racist, just pulling a woman over for a seatbelt, they would have showed you that video. But it ain't. When it looks bad on law enforcement, it's always, we got to keep the privacy to maintain the surety of the case. We don't want to comment on investigations. We want to make sure that the victim, the defendant, the young man that was pulled over, we want to make sure that his rights are upheld. You getting the point yet?
This is an example of where charges have been brought. Any evidence from this case will be looked at in a court of law. The jury will be able to evaluate it. We will not now, in this case, nor in any other case, ever try the case.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
We have to protect the constitutional rights of those individuals that are charged.
He's a liar.
According to reporting by our colleagues in Anchorage, the dog has also been taken out of service.
Oh no, the dog's getting a paid vacation too. The dog is getting a paid vacation. The dog's in his cage with Alpo. Oh no, he's at home with the cop that got a paid vacation. He's at home watching freaking what's the name of that dog? What's the name of that dog? Lassie. The dog's got a paid vacation. So let's reiterate. They got some misdemeanor charges on the cops. We didn't say how many or which ones. Okay? But I want you to look. I want you to look at this guy. Look at his face.
That was in that vehicle. I've been with this department 33 years. Never seen any accident like
Never seen it before.
State trooper.
My trooper.
For me to
Oh,
how this has affected me and other troopers.
it's affected me so much. Oh, the humanity sniff. Sniff, sniff, the humanity sniff. But they're on paid vacation.
Let me be clear, the action of these two individuals is not acceptable for me. It's not in the line of our training and our policy, and I know it's not acceptable to the Alaskans that we serve.
Do you hear him slurring his words? That man needs to have a drug and alcohol test. Somebody give him a breathalyzer. It is so abhorrent. But they got to pay vacation. We can't move too early, but they got to pay vacation. We release the body camera footage, but we don't want to risk the rights of the two law enforcement officers. We don't want to violate their constitutional rights, but we always show it when it exonerates the police. It's just me. I'm looking for an editor. Somebody edit my videos. Let's make money. You contract. Let's make money. I'll do the talking. You do the walking. God bless. See ya.